你好，我是 Bernie O. Montero，我叫讨论政治的真理，上级危险变的真理的真理。It is an interesting fact for everyone to learn and know. A careful analysis of the government of China will reveal the majestic power of China. I will invite you to visit and learn the government structure of China. So please listen and take note some of the important facts and ideas that China has. Why China became one of the powerful country in the whole wide world. Thank you. State structure. We have here some of the topics that we need to discuss in these blogs. So we have to discuss more on the National People's Congress, Presidency, State Council, Central Military Commission, Supreme People's Court, Supreme People's Procuratory. So these are the things that we need to learn in this blog, and I hope you will learn a lot as we go further from our discussion for this vlog, from this Picot's academic story. I hope you will learn a lot from this. To start, so the National People's Congress, the National People's Congress, or the NPC of the People's Republic of China, is the highest organ of the state power. The Standing Committee of the NPC is the permanent organ of NPC. The term of office of the NPC and its Standing Committee is 5 years. The NPC and its Standing Committee are empowered with the rights of legislation, decisions, supervisions, election, and removal. So these are the key component of the power of NPC. The major functions and rights of NPC: to formulate and revise the Constitution and supervise its implementation, enact and revise basic laws and other laws of the state. The amendment of the constitutions shall be proposed by the Standing Committee of the NPC, or the one-fifth of the deputies to the NPC, and can only be adopted by a majority of no less than two-thirds of the deputies of the NPC. So those are the major rules and rights of NPC. And now, to the second major function of the NPC is to elect members of the Standing Committee of the NPC, to elect the President and the Vice President of the People's Republic of China, and to decide on the choices of the Premier of the State Council upon the nomination by the President, the choice of other members composing the State Council upon the nomination by the Premier, to elect the chairman of the Central Military Commission and decide on the choice of other members composing the Central Military Commission upon the nomination by the chairman of the commission, to elect the president of the Supreme People's Court, and to elect the Procurator General of the Supreme People's Procuratorate. The NPC has the right to remove all the above-mentioned functionaries. So these are the second function of the NPC that we need to pay attention. And the third function of the NPC, their major function, is to examine and approve the plan for national economic and social development, to examine and approve the state budget and report on its implementation, to approve the establishment of the province, autonomous regions, and the municipalities directly under the central government, to decide on the establishment and special administrative regions and the system to be instituted in the regions, and to decide on questions of war and peace, to exercise number 4, and to exercise such other functions and powers as the highest organ of state power and exercise. So as shown in the pictures, we have the presidency of the People's Republics of China. These are the two most powerful individual in China, Hu Jintao and Xi Jinping, the supreme power of China, as shown in the picture. Okay, the status of the president. So we have here the status of the president, wherein the president exercises the power of the head of the state according to the decision of the National People's Congress and its Standing Committee, In foreign affairs, the president represents the People's Republic of China and enjoys the highest right of representation of the state in terms of procedural, ceremonial, and symbolic significance. The presidency is the highest position of the state. In essence, however, the presidency does not decide in any state affairs but act according to decision of the NPC and the standing committee. Okay, so next we have here some of the functions of the presidents. In general, the functions and power of the presidents can be summarized in the following. Number one, the power of promulgating laws. Number two, the power of issuing orders. Number three, the power of making appointments or removals. And number four, the power of conferring titles. So we have noticed that the function of the president differ, and it has a very large and a very powerful power that the president have. And next, the election of the president. We have noticed that some of other countries have also an election together with China. Then, according to the Constitution of China, the candidates must, for the president and the vice president, must possess these two conditions. One is the political condition. Yung political condition is that the candidates must be citizens of People's Republic of China who can enjoy the right to vote and to stand for election. The other condition is candidate must have reached the age of 45 years old. So yun po. The next is the candidates for the president and the vice president are proposed by the NPC Presidium for deliberation by all deputies. Then the Presidium official decide on the candidates, one for the presidency and one for the vice president for election through voting by the NPC. As the political democratization process continues, the single candidate practice will gradually be replaced by multi-candidate election. So yun yung process nila in this kind of in this country. Next is that the state council. Yung state council nila is si Wen Jiabang. He is the premier. And next, the State Council of People's Republic of China, namely the Central People's Government, is the highest executive organ of the state power, as well as the highest organ of the state administration. The State Council is composed of the Premier, Vice Premier, State Councilors, Ministers in charge of ministries and commissions, the Auditor General and the Secretary General. The Premier of the State Council is nominated by the President, reviewed by the NPC, and appointed and removed by the President. Next, we have here in picture Hu Jintao, the Central Military Commission, who is the head of this commission. Hu Jintao. Next, the Central Military Commissions of the People's Republic of China is the highest state military organ with the responsibility of commanding the entire armed forces in the country, led by a chairman and consisting of vice chairmen and the members. The commission is elected for a term of 5 years and can stand for re-election. So this is how the Central Military Commissions of People's Republic of China work. They could stand for 5 years in the position and they can be re-elected in the position as they wish. And in this picture, we have here the Supreme People's Court, President Wang Jingzhong. So he is the president of the Supreme People's Court. So the functions and right of the Supreme People's Court or the MPC is conducting a trial of the following cases. First, hearing cases placed with the SPC by laws and regulations and those the SPC deems within its jurisdiction, appeals or protests against trial decisions or verdicts of the higher people's courts and special people's court, appeal against court judgment lodged by the Supreme People's Procuratorate according to trials supervision procedures. So, and number 2, giving approval to death sentence. Oh my God. Number 3, supervising the trials by local people's court and special people courts at different levels. on discovering mistakes in the ruling and verdicts of local people's court already being legally enforced, conducting questioning or appointing a lower level court to conduct rehearing. Number 5, giving approvals to verdicts on crimes not especially stipulated in criminal law. Number 6, offering explanation over the concrete application of laws during the trial process. Okay? And next, we have here in picture the Supreme People's Procuratorate, Procurator General Kwang John Ming, who is the Procurator General in the People's Supreme Procuratorate. And now, the People's Procuratorate are the legal supervisions organ of the state. The prosecution system consists of the Supreme People's Procuratorate, local people's procuratoriats, and special people's procuratoriats such as the military procuratorate. So for us, maybe this is the uh, legal department in the Philippines, and then they have here the Supreme People's Procuratorate, who will do the judicial functions. And now we have here the major function of the SPP. One is to be responsible and report in works to the National People's Congress and Standing Committee and accept the supervisions of the NPC and its Standing Committee. Number 2, to put forward proposal to the NPC and each Standing Committee to offer judicial interpretation in the actual application of law in the work of prosecution. Number 4, to make stipulations, regulations, and implementation rules of the work of prosecution. And if you want to have a copy of my presentation, just subscribe and just click the subscribe button and follow the link being given to you to have access on my reference and my presentation for this very academic and very interesting topic of who is China as one of the most powerful country in the world. Thank you, Zizi.